I'm also trying to solve the epitaph right now. Oh yeah, just a second ago I heard something interesting from Aunt Rosa which might give us a hint about the first twilight. Let me hear it. Erica also asked this without stopping her search or even turning to face me. In the line before the first twilight, it says that one who obtains the key must do so and so. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. Oh, you've already got it memorized. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. And what about that? Yeah, you've got to travel to the Golden Land, right? Apparently this made Aunt Rosa think about the 10th twilight. In other words, going on a 10-day journey from the beloved hometown to the Golden Land. Actually, I'd already noticed that myself. You start from the place reached on the first day of the 10-day journey. That's where you take the sacrifices from. Yeah, that's what Aunt Rosa thought of it too. I think the theory is pretty intriguing. We're looking for the place you'd reach on the first day of a 10-day journey. That bit of land, or else the name of that region, might be a key. I also guess that place name might be a key. That's why I'm looking for materials. I want to turn my guess into certainty. Guess what? Just what are you looking for? Then Erica's hand suddenly stopped and she slowly pulled it out. As she dusted off, she finally looked at me and spoke. It's an atlas. It seems we've managed to make it through the first day. Natsui could be seen in the study. When she muttered as though to herself, gold butterflies appeared and formed the shape of a person. We mustn't let our guards down. I can't imagine we'll last through tomorrow if we simply sit around here. So, as I suspected, simply saying Father's in a bad mood and refuses. Telemarketer. Come out won't be enough to deceive them completely. Indeed. It seems last year left them quite suspicious. Because of that, the toxin expanded and coiling itself around the study, growing ever tighter. I imagine it goes beyond mere suspicions raised last year. That's right. The toxin has grown too thick to be explained away by that alone. Someone must have suspected Kinzo-sama's death since last year, and is strongly intent on exposing that secret at this year's family conference. Does that mean we didn't have them fully deceived even a full year ago? Unfortunately, it's probably best to assume that, given our current situation. The typhoon will remain here tomorrow, and the boat will not come for them until the day after. In short, we must endure for another 36 hours at the very least. It may not be visible to your eyes, Natsui, but the closed room barrier seen in this room was once very firm. Tonight, however, it has been worn down almost to the point of crumbling, like dry leaves awaiting a windstorm. No, the storm is already here. Natsui-sama, I propose that we switch from the closed room barrier to something else. What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting we change our plan? That is correct. Virgilia-sama and I will reconstruct a barrier similar to last year's. In other words, we'll take Kinzo out of the study and have him tightrope walk from the shadow to shadow where the toxin can't reach, just like last year. It may be dangerous, but I would like to second her proposal. Is this a joke? Do you truly intend to change the plan this far in? When one realizes they cannot withstand a siege, they must consider the option of abandoning the castle. Right now, this room is like a castle surrounded by enemy troops, with its walls about to crumble. If staying put means certain death, then you also have the option of riding out for one last stand and an honorable defeat. After all, surrender doesn't seem to be an option in this fight. I'll protect Father's secret until the very end. If it's discovered, we'll have no chance to talk our way out of it. My husband's embezzlement will be exposed to the light of day, and the Ushiromiya family's honor will be destroyed. We must remain firm and prevent that, no matter what may happen. Calm down, I understand you. Krause's alchemy will soon yield great results. If we can just make it through this year, we'll manage. So don't get flustered. But we use this strategy precisely because we wouldn't be able to pull off the same trick as last year, right? Isn't it the height of stupidity to return to a plan you previously abandoned because it was impossible? Just what sort of plan could we hope to make at this point? Renova and I will prepare one. Leave it to us, for creating illusions is what witches do. All you have to do is give us your permission, Natsui-sama. Teacher and Renove are quite reliable at times such as these, and the servants of the One-Winged Eagle are top-notch furniture. Once Teacher and Renove rebuild the magic we need, I imagine the servants will work hard to protect it. It still isn't too late. Let's take Kinzo out of the study and make that illusion walk around. Did you forget we chose our current strategy because we considered plans like that and couldn't find anything that would work? It would be the height of foolishness to get flustered in an emergency and carelessly throw away our primary plan. But Natsui-sama, as you stand there amidst the toxin, you must realize better than anyone else that we no longer be able to outlast this siege. I propose that we try and think of another plan without changing our objective of holding the fort. In any event, as long as we can keep this room sealed, no one will be able to deny Father's existence. After all, one cannot determine the contents of a cat box that no number of people could ever hope to open. Well, that may be true, but humans are capable of defying reason. It's possible for them to eat into an airtight cat box and go inside, like black ants closing in on a box of cake. Lady Burncastell's piece also worries me. It was fortunate that Erika-sama stole the show at tonight's dinner. By doing that, she created an atmosphere in which it was impossible to close down the family conference for the night. It was possible. If you all had returned directly to the family conference as usual, the barrier might have broken tonight. However, it also made the toxin grow even thicker. After it thickens all night, it might manage to penetrate the closed room barrier with ease. Whether we continue to hold down the fort or not, we will not make it through tomorrow, unless we prepare a new strategy and a new barrier. Lady Burnacastell may have some plan for breaking the closed room barrier. We can't take that piece called Erika lightly. Come to think of it, that man who mentioned taking revenge for the events of 19 years ago might also be a piece of Lady Burncastell's. This board achieved equilibrium with 18 pieces, but now it has 2 undesired pieces added to it. There are too many irregularities this year. Lady Burncastell is a fan of Eastern things. In shogi or Japanese chess, aren't you allowed to drop pieces in during a game? Yes, that is possible. Even the act of dropping a queen from a captured pile right in front of the enemy king is an allowable trump card in shogi. I wonder what the man who claimed to have a connection from 19 years ago is doing now. Is he already hiding somewhere on this island? That girl called Erika was able to appear by claiming to have drifted here. That man might also have landed somewhere on this island despite the typhoon, and he may be hiding somewhere now, and it's going to be hard to fully deceive the relatives any longer. Why? Why have so many irregular things happened at the same time? How can you explain this nightmarish miracle of coincidence? Natsui slammed the desk hard, held her head, and cringed at the pain from her overwhelming headache. Lady Byrne could still control miracles. There's no point being surprised at irregularities or miracles when she's around. While shogi is a game in which an enemy piece might suddenly appear in front of a king, for that very reason you build up a perfect formation that won't allow for such a weakness, artistically constructing a castle around your king. In that case, isn't holding the fort exactly what we should be doing now? Perhaps if we had a fort we could hold, but we cannot hope for such a thing now. It's difficult to corner a king with no walls to his back, and even more difficult to corner one with open spaces in all directions. Think of a mouse. You can catch a mouse that's shut in a cage. However, catching a mouse in a field is like catching a cloud. Natsui-sama, please allow us to consider this option. Kenzo-sama will leave his study and wander around the mansion on a whim, avoiding the gaze of the relatives. We will think of a natural-seeming plan for this by morning. Don't you see the danger? If we're willing to consider such a dangerous option, wouldn't it be better to continue acting as though father is in his room in a bad mood? Tomorrow the relatives will crowd around the study once again. They'll be right on the other side of a single door. When that happens, just how long do you intend to make it seem like they're having a yelling match with Kenzo-sama? It's impossible, and we must find some way to postpone that impossibility for 36 hours. If you tell me to do it, I will. I am Ushiromiya Natsui, the wife of the Ushiromiya family head. If you tell me to do that, I will act out a shouting match with father for as many days as it takes. Even Natsui realized that she could never manage it, but she no longer saw any chance of victory from a plan that involved an illusion of Kenzo walking around, banging on the desk several times with tears of rage streaming down her face. Natsui alternated between groaning from her headache and placing the blame on one thing or another. It made me feel that there must be some curse that made anyone who sat in that chair act that way. This is like a game of mating shogi where you are on the defensive. In mating shogi, the opponent has no king, and you have no way of winning other than avoiding a checkmate for a predetermined number of moves. And to think that I must escape for a whole day and a half's worth of moves, it's just too many. Don't stop thinking, don't give up. I'll listen to your complaints, so don't have a fit. Your unshaking will to overcome this trial will bring you success with certainty. That's the power of the Witch of Certainty for you. You must not lose that magical power. Believe that you will overcome this no matter what. I'm sure you'll think of a brilliant plan. Therefore, you mustn't give up and you mustn't stop thinking. You're right. I understand. Only I can overcome this hardship. That is correct. Didn't Kenzo entrust you with the job of overcoming these challenges? Kenzo acknowledged that you were worthy of that responsibility. Father. Father Og. Teacher and Renove will think of a move. Of course, I will think as well. However, even that we cannot do without permission from our master, from you. So at the very least, don't abandon your will to fight. Don't give up. I understand, but I am already all tired out, and I can't stand this headache. Why is it that I'm crying here, all alone in this frigid study? Why isn't my husband here for me now? Back when dinner ended, Krause claimed to be dizzy and went to bed early. Of course, he had done this to get enough rest to ready himself for the long day ahead. But to Natsui right now it felt as though he had gone straight to sleep and pushed the entire burden on her. However, complaining about such a thing would mean her failure as a wife. Isn't it a good wife's duty to work hard and put family first even when her husband is resting? Filled with regret even at her anger toward her husband, unable to determine at whom she should be angry, Natsui continued to sob. If only Kenzo could just speak to her kindly. At times like this, Beato searched for him, but Kenzo had been nowhere to be seen in his study for some time now. Perhaps Natsui had noticed this as well, though she bragged that fighting alone and supporting from behind was the responsibility of a good wife, without anyone to tell her that this really was necessary. She was now so frail that she couldn't even stop her own tears, just as Beato was trying to think of words to console Natsui. Virgilia tapped her lightly on the shoulder. Sometimes when words of consolation don't come from the mouth of the right person, they can do more harm than good. So Virgilia silently told Beato that remaining silent was the best course of action for now. Hi, sorry to interrupt. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me speak. Gabe, please restrain yourself for the time being. No, in this room there's no distinction between outsiders, guests, and the rest of us. You may speak. Thank you. Renove said it himself a while ago. This is mating shogi with you on the defensive. How do you lose in mating shogi? It's when your king is checkmated, right? That goes without saying, and then when the opponent has no king, therefore all Natsui can do is have her king run away constantly. I see. So you're thinking of that move. Has that time already come? What do you mean? Do you mean there's some sort of move remaining to us? It's what you proposed in the very beginning, about how to hide Goldsmith's death. I'm trying to say the time has come for us to use that. You mean having him go missing? You mean to make that move right now? During the family conference? That's too dangerous. Once they had successfully resolved all of their problems, they would have to lay Kenzo to rest. And the best way to do that was to make him disappear. One day, Kenzo would go out into the forest and never return. They wouldn't be able to find him no matter how much they searched, so he would be declared missing. You said it yourself a second ago, Riche. You can't catch a mouse that's escaped into a field, and you can't catch a goldsmith who's disappeared into the forest. You plan for us to talk our way out of this like that? To use such a move now, when the suspicion against us is greatest, would be no better than committing suicide. Oh, they will probably suspect it. Such a move would most certainly lead to mistrust. However, even if they were to set foot in the study, they would find nothing to aid them. It would never again be possible for them to keep Kenzo-sama pinned down. And no matter how much they suspected his death, they would be unable to prove it. Forget about a mere 36 hours. You'd be able to protect Kenzo's secret forever that way. Right? Of course, we'll also have to bear an appropriate risk. If you make that move, you may be able to overcome this particular challenge, but we cannot even guess at how much prestige you might lose for it. Even so, it's a move that will most certainly overcome our current challenge. Of course, you'll then have to face an even greater suspicion, but you won't die. Yes, that during the Great Kanto earthquake, the Ushiromiya family should have died. That may be true, but However, the mad genius Goldsmith revived it so splendidly that it's now something that you desire to protect. So this time, it is up to you and your husband, the new head, and his wife to do the same. Oh, is that how you intend to stir her up? I'm not stirring her up. I'm just asking if she's prepared to be the wife of the head. Are you prepared to protect the Ushiromiya family, even if you end up getting dragged through the dirt to do it? I am prepared. Then now is the time. If you can survive by being dragged through the dirt, then crawl with all your might. You'll inch your way through this world of suffering, and eventually, you'll restore that glory. I, Gape the 33rd in rank, promise you this. Gape, the fact that I came to play at a time like this must be a sign from the gods of happenstance. I'll keep this promise, Ushiromiya Natsue. I require nothing in return. Riche, the one who serves you, has already paid me plenty in advance. Gape may have seemed irresponsible, but she actually possessed a strong sense of duty. She was the kind of person who just couldn't leave someone in trouble alone. Payment in advance? Oh, when did I do that? I have no memory of such a thing. Giggle. Oh, I just mean those magical items you couldn't remember where you put. I made off with quite a few of them. What? What? So that was your doing after all? Give 'em back. Give back my illusory silver crystal and moonstick. Why? What? I mean, earlier I was struggling. That, the crawl back with all your might. I was struggling really hard to not make Mortal Kombat references and to start singing the Mortal Kombat theme. Test your might, Mortal Kombat. But now I'm like reading Moonstick. I'm like, are we talking about sex toys? Is she just describing her dildo? Like, what are we talking about here? That's the sort of magic and strategy you can expect from me. I can hide Goldsmith away in a world where no one will be able to find him. Let me know the instant you need that magic. Until then, feel free to think of another, safer plan. True. Having alternatives is beneficial for your peace of mind, and without that you'll never think of a brilliant plan. Natsue-sama, we have quite some time remaining us tonight. Let's leave Gabe's strategy as a final trump card and iron out a plan of our own for now. Please give us permission, and please give us the trust, magical power, and absolute conviction we'll need to succeed without fail. If you have faith, I will make your dreams come true. If you succumb to doubt, then I will make those nightmares come true. You must build your own future. Kenzo would disappear, and right in the middle of this family conference, such a move truly would be a last resort. Burying this final trump card in her heart, Natsue decided that she would grope around for a different plan until the last second. After all, this long night has only just begun. Burn Castell and her piece had just as long to prepare as Natsue did. Gouge the foot and kill, and that completes it. I see, so that really was what gouge meant. Once again, my reasoning was correct. The feel of it this time was clearly different from the previous times, as though some sort of device had activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change, such as an entrance or some sort of opening. Apparently, they would need to do just a little bit more before they could find it. You're incredible. If we really do find the gold, we'll have to split it together. Enjoying the intellectual stimulation is enough for me. The only thing I like is solving riddles. The only reward I need is proof that I was right. She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at the lock mechanism. It's definitely no mistake to say this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is all about the delicious process of exposing secrets. So she has no interest whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself and becoming a billionaire. I see. Pretty cocky of you setting up a device like this. The mistake you all made was letting me on this island in the first place. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Ferudo Erica. What do you think, everyone? As she said this to the now exposed contraption, she grinned. Her smile was triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bit of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasure of having won against the one who proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now. If we find the gold now, the successor won't be Kraus-san, but you. Heh. Well, I wonder. Isn't Kraus-san kind of arrogant? You might even call him a braggart. It'll be pretty amusing to see him lose both the gold and his position as the successor to his nephew in the course of a single night, won't it? Erica was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Battler as she toyed around with the device. Jessica-san was her name, right? The girl who talked back to me. Yeah? She really was acting big about her father being the successor. When she wakes up tomorrow and learns that you've inherited all the gold, and that her father is no longer the successor, I wonder what kind of expression she'll have on her face. I've got no intention of keeping that 20 billion to myself. Well, if I got even 10%, that'd be as much as I could handle. We can split the rest fairly among the family. I'm even less interested in being the successor. I'd be glad to let Uncle Kraus deal with that. Will you really be able to settle things that easily in the end? Well, rather than trying to make guesses about that, I imagine it'll be more fun to guess at the expression Jessica-san wears tomorrow. And what kind of sad excuses she'll try to make. You really do have a nasty personality. Oh? Couldn't you reason that out from the time you learned that I liked solving riddles? I'm an intellectual rapist who enjoys exposing things people try to hide. Get it? The same thing goes for solving the epitaph's riddle. I'll bet you wanted to expose the gold grandfather worked so hard to hide. Yes, that was my goal at first, but it changed partway through. Partway through? Changed to what? I mean, Jessica-san, she butted in on my reasoning, contaminating that pure and noble time. Ever since then, I've been trying to solve the epitaph so I could teach that Jessica a lesson. Are you serious? Giggle. More giggle noises. I'll make all opponents surrender. no matter who they are. That is my sole pleasure. Do you still need me to reason it out for you? Ushiromia Jessica irritated me. That's why I wanted to put her in her place and decided to solve the epitaph. That's what led to the emotions I hold now. Can you reason out what those emotions are? This time I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle-solving game, letting her drive me on and do something terrible? That's right. It should have been possible to reason this out. If the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. Dad and some others will probably push for me, the discoverer, to be the successor. And some relatives not thrilled with that prospect will probably oppose them. Despite how adamantly Erica affirmed it, it isn't written anywhere that the one who solves the riddle of the epitaph becomes the successor. Because of this, it'll lead to a fight between those who acknowledge that theory and those who don't. If I reason out what'll happen next as Erica did, it'll probably lead to a messy fight between Uncle Kraus and the rest of the relatives. Now that I've solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Erica was still mumbling. Apparently, she had already started trying to reason it out. As I began to feel very bad, I vaguely gazed out into the black night. Surprise noises.